evening, everyone. My name is Harry Phillips, and it is an honor to be speaking to you tonight as the Student Council President for the 2018-2019 school year. Of course, I want to welcome you all, give you all well wishes for this upcoming school year, and remind you all that no matter how tough the year gets, you'll still survive. But that's cliche, and I'm not saying this speech won't be cliche, but I won't be cliche in that way. So, when deciding on what to talk about, I was finally inspired by three things. First, I was inspired by the deadline. Deadlines are a great way of making you do stuff, trust me. Second, I was inspired by, drumroll please, summer reading! Yeah, woo! Okay, so in case you haven't done your summer reading yet, classes are going to start for another 61 hours or so. That's plenty of time. So anyway, the community book, written by Kathy Kay and Claire Shipman, is titled The Confidence Code for Girls: Taking Risks, Messing Up, and Becoming Your Amazingly Perfect, Totally Powerful Self. Yeah, I see the parents over here like, yeah, I remember buying that and the parents are like, oh no, I don't remember. So for the parents who haven't read it, I'll give you the really bad SparkNotes version. Sorry. Through lots of comics, quizzes, stories from real teenage girls, and actually sciencey stuff, the book provides insight and tips on how to really get to know yourself and be confident in who you are. However, in its 269-page glory, I think there's one thing the book left out, which leads to inspiration number 3, Barbie's YouTube channel. Yes, the skinny plastic doll has an animated YouTube channel where she vlogs. Right? Yeah, I didn't know that she had one either if I saw a video. Here's what she talks about in a vlog that the confidence code doesn't really mention: the sorry reflex. It is our instinct to apologize when we haven't actually done anything wrong, but feel like we're being a burden to others. For example, have you ever said, "I'm sorry, but may I go to the bathroom?" Or been really, really excited about something and apologize? I notice that we do that a lot here. Absolutely, apologizing is okay when you've sincerely made a mistake, like spilling water all over the table and your friends in the dining hall, or hurt someone's feelings, but we need to stop thinking that everything we do is a burden or that we're taking up too much space. To quote Barbie, sorry is a learned reflex, and every time we do it, we take away from our self-confidence. Stop apologizing for existing and feeling. To mimic two of the greatest thinkers and writers of our era, Barbie and Miss Teskey, I want to leave you all with a challenge. This year, change the habit. Instead of saying sorry first, just ask your question. It is okay to ask questions. Instead of apologizing for feeling emotions, whether that's sadness or excitement, say thank you to those that listen or comfort you or get excited with you. It's crazy how much simply saying thank you instead of I'm sorry can change your perspective. So with that said, I'll start. Thank you all for existing and being here and listening to this 3-minute spiel.
Will you stand and join me as we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for honoring the vision of our founders, and for the many, many, many young women who have studied here over the past 270 plus years. We are grateful, extremely grateful for each family that is here this evening, joining us this evening, for each student that is joining us for the year ahead, and for each faculty and staff person that have joined in this endeavor together. We ask your blessing on the year ahead. We pray a special blessing for these members of our senior class. We pray that you would give us knowledge and grant us wisdom with understanding. And as we pray at our weekly chapel, I pray that you would help us to strive onwards towards perfect unity in a world that grows increasingly restless. May we, those of us here at Linden Hall, be beacons of your peace And we pray this in the name of the Prince of Peace. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, ladies, so very much. Good evening, and welcome back to students, parents, faculty, staff, and board members. In the quiet of summer, it is easy to get lost in the silence at Linden Hall. It is both a productive time and a time to take a good, long, cleansing breath. But it's also time to consider what is yet to come. Meeting future students and working on everyone's schedules provides time to think about possibilities. A school every day, even in the summer, is a place full of possibilities, of opportunities and development. That's a beautiful place to be. But what's an even better place to be? At school with students. Take a look around, everybody. These are your sisters with whom you will share everything this year. Classes, teams, auditions, lyceum, prom, graduation. I think I'm gonna cry a lot this year. And you all are really special people to be around. Girls returning to campus bring life to Linden Hall, banish that summer silence, and share who they are and what their journey is. Many key moments for Linden Hall girls center on the global perspectives that our students bring with them to campus. Whether they're coming from a country halfway around the world or just down the street. Students at Linden Hall are proud to celebrate and share their cultures, their heritages, and their experiences. Tonight, I would like to acknowledge the rich global presence that we have in our community, both due to a broad international citizenship and a marvelous intercultural heritage, by introducing the flags that Linden Hall students are carrying. Around the perimeter of the sanctuary, you can see the flags of countries with which our students identify. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge each flag. As I read your country's name, ladies, everybody else, we can applaud. Ready? Antigua and Barbuda. Austria. Bangladesh. Brazil. Burundi. Netherlands. Nigeria. Pakistan. Philippines. Puerto Rico. Russia. Rwanda. Serbia. South Africa. Her flag is still in the ground. South Korea. Spain. Tanzania. Trinidad and Tobago. Turkey. Vietnam. And of course, the United States. Thank you, each and every one of you, for the energy, the interest, and diversity that you bring to our community. After Convocation tonight, these flags will be carried over to Honeycutt, where they will remain on display for a few weeks. Come and spend some time looking at them. At this time, please rise and join me in the recitation of the school prayer, the words of which are printed on the back of your Convocation program. Take into thy hands, O God, this school and each member of it. Make it a place after thine own heart. Help us to cast out all that is false or unclean. Give us a true desire to serve one another, that shall grow in the days to come into a wider desire to serve one another the world over. Make us lovers of our homes, loyal to our countries, and faithful to our place of worship. Grant that all of us, young and old, may strive onwards towards the perfect unity of us, that through us thy kingdom may be built on earth. Amen.
Good evening. On behalf of our faculty and staff, welcome parents, grandparents, siblings, trustees, and special friends. For those of you who are returning students, welcome home. We've missed you. It's been far too quiet on campus these past few months. For those of you who are new to Linden Hall, we're delighted you are here. Tonight, with the ringing of the bell at the end of our ceremony, we will officially begin the 2018-19 school year. I must admit that although this is my 38th start to a new school year as an educator, do the math, I still get butterflies in my stomach. I suspect the same is true for most of you here tonight. For me, with the start of the school year also comes the inevitable nightmares. No one can enter the building on the first day of school because there are no doors. We have an outbreak of food poisoning in the kitchen, and the health department closes our kitchen. And the scariest one, the teachers go on strike, and I am teaching 6 periods a day in LGI. I am often asked how I find topics to talk about during our special ceremonies. Perhaps much like Reverend Foreman, I usually talk about those things that hold special importance to me, are relevant, reinforce those ideals that we promote at the home, and topics that may ask our girls to consider different perspectives. One of my favorite all-time TV shows is Seinfeld, a sitcom that ran in the 90s for 9 seasons and whose reruns can still be seen. The show is often described as a show about nothing. So maybe you can see where I'm going with this. What if I give a speech about nothing? Probably not a good idea. Seinfeld focuses on a pathetic group of 4 friends. There's Kramer, who has never held a full-time job, except for a stint as a 35-year-old ball boy at the U.S. Open tennis tournament, and continues to hold out for a management position. George Costanza, my favorite character, a self-absorbed man who is neurotic, loud, brazen, and frequently takes liberties with the truth and proclaims, "It's not a lie if you believe it." Jerry Steinfeld, who works in the show and in real life as a stand-up comedian, is the closest thing the group has to a voice of reason, and who constantly finds himself in embarrassing situations. And finally, there's Elaine, the female voice on the show, who in addition to her many idiosyncrasies is confident, funny, and a self-proclaimed nut. Each episode begins with the disparate storylines, with the characters typically involved what appear to be unrelated situations. However, as distinct as their stories may begin, ultimately they cleverly intertwine and evolve into one. Such, I believe, is the case for each of us. Our lives are a compendium of many stories, some good and not so good. But our stories come together to define who we are. Sometimes our stories are written for us, but mostly we are the author. We determine how others view us, and most importantly, how we view ourselves. On a much more serious note, I recently heard about Steve Ross, who is a Polish Jew and a 92-year-old Holocaust survivor. Beginning at the age 8, he was imprisoned in 10 concentration camps during a 5-year period. His recently released book, From Broken Glass, is part of his efforts to ensure that this atrocity is not forgotten. Mr. Ross understands all too well the adage that those who neglect history are bound to repeat it. The results from a recent survey are really disturbing. 11% of all U.S. adults and 22% of millennials, individuals who became adults around the year 2000, are unaware or not sure what the Holocaust is. 41% of Americans and 66% of millennials could not say what Auschwitz was. Can't pronounce it. And equally disconcerting is the fact that nearly 60% of Americans believe something like the Holocaust could happen again. Personally, I would argue that something like the Holocaust has already happened again. During Mr. Ross's horrific ordeal, he was eaten daily, nearly starved to death, and his parents and 6 brothers and sisters were murdered by the Nazis. Only he and his brother survived. And his stories didn't stop when he came to Boston as an orphan with TB in 1949. He eventually attended college and worked for 40 years as a psychologist in the public schools and on the streets in Boston, assisting troubled students and encouraging them to stay in school. The New England Holocaust Memorial in Boston was Mr. Ross's brainchild and serves as a perpetual reminder of the evil that took place during World War II. As the former mayor of Boston stated, Mr. Ross demanded that we never forget the hatred nor the power of hope. Mr. Ross's life is filled with stories of despair, courage, survival, determination, hope, and compassion. As traumatic and challenging as his life has been, he has worked tirelessly to create inspiring stories that can serve as powerful examples to others. We all have stories. For me, my stories continue to be written, but include growing up as one of 6 children and experiencing what it means to be loved unconditionally by my siblings and parents, working in a time-honored profession of educating future generations and helping to prepare them for future success and happiness, serving with teachers and administrators who give generously of their time and talent, serving as a first responder, knowing what it means to put others above self, performing hundreds of hours of community service, and most importantly, having a loving and supportive spouse, and raising 3 children who are in so many ways more than I will ever be, and hopefully being a positive influence in the lives of my 2 stepdaughters. Girls, what are your stories? What events in your life will define you? How will your time at Linden Hall define you as you prepare to write the next chapters in your journey? During the upcoming school year, you will write many chapters, all of which will become part of your life story. Take full advantage of the extraordinary opportunity you have been given to attend one of our nation's finest schools. Remember and celebrate our storied history. Take full advantage of the exceptional teachers, dorm parents, staff, and administrators who stand ready to challenge you to move outside your comfort zone, reach new heights, and to support you during good and difficult times. If you are a new student, make a concerted effort to connect with your Linden Hall sisters. Ours is a welcoming community, and we are so happy you're here. If you are a returning student, introduce yourself to our new students, and find a new student who needs a new friend. Let this year be some of your best and most fulfilling chapters. Seniors, you are our leaders. You will set the tone for the new school year, and you will serve examples for other students, particularly our middle schoolers. This year will fly by quickly, and your tears at graduation will no doubt be tears of sadness as you leave this special place. As you experience a year of many lasts, your last threatening day, moving like we, athletic season, performance, prom, enjoy yourself, rise to the challenges that you will face, lean on those who care about you, and create special stories that will last forever. My motivation to make this a wonderful year sits right in front of me. The girls who walk through our doors daily. And like me, the extraordinary adults I have the privilege of working with, remain firm in our commitment to ensure that Linden Hall remains a place where dreams are realized and talents multiplied, and where every girl is valued and known. Thank you.
This is the sound of one voice. One people, one voice. A song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. One people, one voice. A song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Thank you, Musea. Class of 2019, here you are, sitting in those front pews, right up front and center. In your days at Linden Hall, you have been pioneers as members of the first 5th grade class. You have also been history makers as one of the largest classes ever, and largest graduating class ever. You are a collective of diverse, beautiful, strong young women who speak up for what is right and who ask for justice and equality for those who cannot speak for themselves. You care a lot about the future of Linden Hall. And you care a lot about the future of the girls who will fill those seats next year, and also all the girls who will come after you. As your senior year begins, a year of great classes, precious time with friends, preparation for college, endless possibilities, we, your class mentors, Mr. Zanar and Ms. Berbellis and me, encourage you and guide you this year, and we will enjoy the next 10 months with you. So now, we would like to share with you some words of wisdom as you begin your last year of high school.
My advice for you all is to live in the moment. Be present in all that you do. Fully engaged. The philosopher Eckhart Tolle wrote, unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. This is your senior year, and the future is looming. You will apply to and get accepted to colleges this year. You will graduate from high school in just a few short months. There is so much to look forward to in your future. But do not forget about the now. Enjoy the Lotus Walk tonight, weather depending. Take in every aspect of Redhead. Get involved in Blue and White Week. Be open to new experiences, join a different club, or sign up for an uncommon weekend activity. Be fully committed to enjoy each of these annual landmarks in Linden Hall tradition. Don't let the future dictate your now. Eckhart Tolle continued, guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of non-forgiveness are caused by too much past and not enough presence. This is your senior year, and you've had a long history of being a student. Some of you have been here since 5th grade, others since 9th grade. Some of you may be starting at Linden Hall this year. But do not dwell on the past. Start this year fresh and new. Enjoy the little moments, sitting in Honeycut, walking between classes, and sharing a meal in the dining hall. Reconnect with the friends you aren't as close to, or retry something that you have not yet succeeded at. Do not let the past dictate your now. Be present in all that you do. Fully engaged in this year.
Ladies, one of the things that I love about you is that you are feisty and opinionated. As someone who has been described the same way, I'd like to share something that I've learned in my many years of life. And that is the importance of choosing your battles. There are 1.5 million things that you can get upset about in life. But most of them aren't worth fighting for. If we choose to fight about everything that upsets us, we will drive ourselves crazy and probably burn a lot of bridges that we don't intend to burn. So my advice to you and to all of us is this. When you feel yourself getting upset about something, take a moment and ask yourself, is this really worth fighting about? If the answer is yes, then by all means, fight about that thing, but do it with respect and kindness. After all, argument can be very healthy for a relationship if it's done the right way. If the answer is no, take a deep breath and let it go. Sometimes you only need to let it go once, but a lot of times you will need to let it go repeatedly. That's okay. It's normal. It's worth it to maintain healthy relationships because our relationships with the people that we care about are really what's most important in life. So when you feel yourself getting upset with someone, take a step back and determine if it's really worth saying anything at all. And if it is, remember that your relationship with that person is far more important than winning an argument. Tread lightly with respect and kindness.
Live in the moment, choose your battles. And remember that leaving a legacy is much more than leaving behind a class gift, statue, or another inanimate structure that will one day crumble and be forgotten. Consider the words of the late American singer, pianist, and queen of soul, Aretha Franklin. It really is an honor if I can be inspirational to a young singer or person. It means I've done my job. Your plates are full already. We know this, right? Yeah, okay. This year, you will play hard and you will study harder. But what will you inspire in the hearts of the girls and the grades who love you, to the girls in the desks next to you? When you're preoccupied with thoughts about your future and the college process is stressful, don't forget that you are a Linden Hall girl today. Don't forget to pause and enjoy the time that you have with the girls who look up to you, who aspire to be like you. Your Linden Hall legacy is what you leave behind with them, in their hearts. It's the quality time that you spend with them, in the way that you inspire them to foster a stronger community, the way you build their confidence and encourage them to speak up and let their voices be heard. It's what you've been doing all this week when you have walked with girls to Greco's ice cream and when you have taught them what it means to be a Linden Hall girl during orientation activities. You are already building, living, and fulfilling this legacy. And now you have 180 days to put on the finishing touches.
And so welcome to a new school year at Linden Hall. I am Pastor Dean, one of the two pastors here at this congregation, the Linden Moravian congregation, where our church began educating young girls here in 1746, the beginning of the Linden Hall School for Girls. So whether you come as a student or family of a student or staff or teacher, we come together to serve together, to learn together, to journey in this new school year. So let's take a moment to acknowledge God's presence in whatever way we understand God and pause in silence, knowing that God gives a hand of kindness to see us through this coming year. Let's pause for a moment and be aware that God is always and everywhere with us. Oh God, we thank you for the start of a new school year. We are students and families, we are teachers and staff, and we all come wanting this to be a great year. We're happy, we're excited, we're nervous, and have butterflies. And so we look to you and ask for your comfort and your strength and your guiding hand upon us to gently lead and remind us that we're never alone. We're facing a lot of new challenges in this new year. We will have new choices, some very important choices to make. Help us to choose to give our best efforts in the classroom and extracurricular activities and are treating each other like we would like to be treated. Oh God, thank you for Linden Hall, for being a part of this wonderful educational family, for all the treasure it has been to so many in these past 272 years, and the blessing we pray it will be for us this new year ahead. So God, we ask that you would bless each one of us and make of us a blessing. Amen.
Please all rise for the benediction.
Please be seated. Mr. Mulberry, let us sign. The Lotus Walk is all right. So since the rain has let up, at this time I will ask Mr. Whalett to come down for the ringing of the bell. And we will recess out of the church, seniors, flags, drums, faculty, drums of the back. And then we will all exit the Lotus Walk. Students, remember you will gather in Church Square with your class mentors before heading over to the fountain for the Lotus ceremony and the senior song. When we are all wrapped up tonight, the flags need to make their way into Honeycutt. And then just a reminder that there's a celebratory dance for all students afterwards. If you are a day parent whose parent is leaving you here, parents, you may come back and get them at 10:30. Thank you.
All right, so let's officially start this new year, the year 2018-19. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We bring in the new year.